Hey, what's slicing, everybody? Chris back with CIC Knives here with another knife build. I hope everybody had a good new year. But let's get into it. Today we were reviewing this backspacer and handle scale. Yeah, I'm just joking. This is actually the original two pieces that were taken off of this knife that this guy on Etsy did for a CRKT Pilar. Not the large Pilar, just the regular. And the CRKT just came in this little simple box with, you know, product guide, how to care for your knife. At least my CRKT is a pretty well-known brand in the knife community. They always do some really interesting, neat designs. And they work with a lot of designers to bring their kind of custom-made knife designs to a more affordable price point with simpler steel and production level materials. This is one of my favorite pieces that I've ever done, or I've ever purchased and edited even more. This is my Pilar. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's not a very big knife, but this thing is gorgeous. I love it. I love resin on knives, and I specifically love pearl resin, which is what this is. Done in a very nice black with a lot of different shades of green in there. I don't know how well it is coming out on camera. Hopefully the video is doing this justice. This thing is beautiful. I'm going to write in the description of this video the exact name of the shop of the Etsy seller that makes these, and you can contact him if you want something like this done. He's a few models that he can do it to, but if you just say, you know, I want the copper foil carbon fiber with this green pearl resin, I'm sure he will be happy to oblige. These red screws, if you go on Etsy and type in, and the red titanium clip as well. If you go on Etsy and type in CRKT Pilar red pocket clip, you should see this pop up. It's a very good replacement. The original clip, let's see if I think I have it sitting here, which is this tiny little thing, very stiff. I could use it, you know, but look at that size difference. And this clip, not only is it titanium, it's awesome. It's not as tight. And if you're wondering, that red finish, I believe he, I don't know if he Cerakotes it red, or what he does. It is a titanium clip. The screws are probably stainless, I would guess, but the clip is titanium. Now, you might notice there was a little bit of an issue. If you see that I have one silver on each side, what he has done here, oh yeah, and he has this custom backspacer in here too, which also looks dope. Also, it also looks like it's resin, some form of resin. But with these upgrades, you know, the handle scale is, I believe it's thicker. So he kind of had to get a whole new screw set. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's definitely thicker. I'm sure you can see that there. Definitely thicker. So he had to get some new screws, and he has a pin that goes all the way across. And one pin's going this way, and the other one is coming the other way. And it is very difficult. I'm afraid I'm going to heavily strip those screws that are in there, trying to take them out. And you know, I figured this is silver, so let's keep some silver in there. And it still don't look too bad. You know, you got the one red, this side's mostly red. In addition to making his own custom scale and his own custom backspacer for the knife, he stone washed this side to give it kind of a finished look. And when I seen the green and I seen there were some red screws available, I was like, man, that could be kind of Christmassy looking. And sure enough, it kind of does look Christmassy for sure. You got, especially with keeping the silver there, you got the red, got the green. You know, this is copper foil, but it definitely matches still, and the knife looks very nice. I very much love it. Like I said, pearl resin is like one of my favorite materials on knives to be used, and you don't see it done very often. I see in things like Kieranite that Case Knives uses those kinds of things. I love that kind of stuff on knives. You don't see it much. And when I seen this, it was an instant buy for me. I know the Pilar is a fairly popular knife among CRKT, and we'll try to review this knife to the best of my ability, even though it is heavily customized. So whenever a knife is modded like this, you kind of got to take some of the things into account. The original Pilar is only a $25 to $30 knife, so it's not even that expensive. But with the customizations, I think this thing cost me around 60 bucks. Now the clip and screws cost me another like 20 or 25, so keep that in mind. Customized clips and screws and stuff, especially if the clip is titanium, aren't cheap, so you're going to be paying for that. It is a USA seller that does this and the sets of screws on Etsy as well. So, you know, there was a lot of, while it is a China-made knife, there was a lot of support for USA small businesses that went into this, which is another added bonus. And he did a really good job with this scale. There is no hot spots. It's all smooth. You know, nothing's poking. The pearl resin's held in there very well. He did a very good job. And this backspacer is awesome. I'm pretty sure it's also glow in the dark. I haven't actually tested it yet, but it looks like it's glow in the dark to me. But yeah, good job. Let's get some size comparisons up here. We're just gonna have some simple ones today. The Pilar has a million videos on the internet, so you've probably seen this knife somewhere. It is a smaller knife, for sure. As you can see here, next to two very popular knives, that would be its competition, the QSP Penguin and the Civivi Elementum. And then we'll go ahead and throw the my Tenacious up here as well. And as you can see, I've got the kind of camera angle up higher today, so hopefully it's not as much of a difference, but we can go ahead and switch the knives anyways, just in case it makes it look a little different on camera. But yeah, it's a very small knife. I don't know if I have any more small knives. I can go ahead and bring the Rat 2 out. I'm sure a lot of people have owned or at least held a Rat 2 in their hand at least once in their lives. It's one of the most popular knives out there. Then we'll bring in the Civivi Gordo, I think is the name of this knife right here. And it's smaller as well, but it's a lot thicker. And the Rat 2 is longer, but it's a lot thinner. So yeah, it's probably the smallest customized knife that I own. At least that's what it looks like, but it is 100% one of my favorites. And even though it's on washers, it is pretty smooth, and the reverse flick is very easy for me to get to. And that's not just a factor with my customized one, that's a factor of the original. Look how easy that reverse flick is, even on camera. This finger choil, done very well. My finger, I have large size gloves, and as you can see, my finger goes in there very nicely. So it's done very well. And it's a very comfortable knife, very comfortable indeed. And let's see, yeah, you know, of course they didn't mill the original, but of course my knife is a lot lighter weight than the original is going to be, because this is much lighter of a handle material. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this side is the heaviest part of the knife, this handle scale, and there's not really a huge amount of weight on it besides that. It's very good. I guess you'd call that a Wharncliffe blade. Really nice lines on there. I do need to clean up. I think that's a scratch. I think that's just a little bit of residue where I cut some tape with it the other day. I highly doubt tape scratched metal. But yeah, it's got a nice, what I would say is a worn cliff blade here. It's got a, it's got a slight curve going on there, but it's pretty easy to sharpen, so that's good. Now, CRKT is known for not doing their fit and finishes perfectly. Let's see how they did this one. I do like their designs a lot, CRKTs. I like that they work with a lot of different, custom knife makers to bring their knives into production. But a lot of times their lines aren't perfectly symmetrical. And this one's not too bad. It still is right there. It's going to be very hard to tell on the camera, but these curves that come from the blade there and there, they are not perfectly symmetrical. They're pretty close, but they're not perfect. It's definitely something CRKT is known for and something you should probably be aware of on your knife. But that is not a huge deal to me, especially since this knife originally cost $25 to $30. I'd say the original, I'd say you're paying for the brand a little bit on the original because the steel is only, well, it's a steel not on the blade. Let's see. Don't say the steel anywhere. I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is 8CR13 MOV. Though, keep in mind also, when they hire these designers for their knives, it's a Voxnaz design, which is a pretty well-known knife maker in the community. When they're paying him for design, I know this knife became pretty popular. It's still pretty popular. So popular, in fact, that they made a small and large version. This is the small, obviously. But they made a large version, and I know a lot of people bought both. They're paying a designer to do this, so that's going to be taken into account. What the cost is not somebody that works for CRKT. It is a outside designer. And I don't know if he gets a percentage of their sales or if they just pay him a huge amount of money up front, but either way, they're paying somebody more money than just paying one of their employees to design a knife for them, and that costs money, So you always got to keep that in mind. This knife was also not made for lefties. It has a very unusual pocket clip area for the clip. Like, you see these holes right here? So weird, right? Most companies just drill one or two holes, where the clip goes, or with the Tenacious's case. I know this is a custom scale, but the original Tenacious cases, or the original Tenacious scales also have this. They just go ahead and put the 4-way on there, so you can put your knife on there however you want. But with this, they just did a really weird cut out into the handle scale. I don't know if you can see that up there, in case you want to carry it the opposite way, which I do not, but you do you. But yeah, lefties can't carry it that way. Sorry guys. Frame locks aren't really made for lefties as well anyways, I don't think, because the lock is always on the right side, which makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, for lefties to disengage it. I'm sure they've gotten used to it, but they'd probably prefer the lock be over here if a knife was made for them. There's not really any major gripes that I have on this knife. This knife is definitely, like I said, maybe a little overpriced at 25 or 30 bucks for 8CR13 MOV, and given its small size. Now, for my customized version, I think this was underpriced. $60 for this beautiful of a scale. And I know this took a little bit of work. He had to shape the scale, make it smooth. He had to cut out into the carbon fiber to pour the resin. And then he had to, sand the resin down, make it smooth, seal it, and then made the backspacer on top of it. Now, stone washing the handle scale, that wasn't much work at all, for sure. But he also had his own custom screws. He has his own custom pin. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's the only part of the knife that doesn't necessarily look pretty, for lack of a better word, is down in that pen, but you're probably not going to be looking down in there anyways. But, you know, he didn't have to stone wash the back, but he did. It's just these little details. Such a good seller on there. If he ever has another one, even another Pilar that I really like, if he gets another color pearl resin or something with some different carbon fiber, I will definitely purchase it. So good luck trying to get it before I do. Because this is probably, honestly, with the customization here, it's not one of my top 5 knife designs, but in my collection personally, it's hard not to say that this isn't one of my top 5 favorites, just because how good it looks with these custom scales and with the red titanium set. I just love it. I think it's awesome. But let me know what you guys think. Is this one of your favorites that I've showed so far? I definitely have more heavily customized builds I've not shown off yet. I still have a lot of knives to review. And I have a monthly knife club knife that I need to get posted from the one that I got in December. Actually, the holidays put me heavily behind, so I do apologize on that. But if you like what you see, guys, please subscribe and hit that like button. My channel is growing very fast now, and I'm very appreciative of that. I think I've gained 100 subscribers in the last month and a half, which is the most I've ever gained in that amount of time. I'm glad you guys have been liking the content. I've been trying to get better and better with each video, with how I talk and my lighting and the camera angle and all that. So yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.